we're talking about HRV versus heart rate and how that helps you get in shape. So I started using the Whoop. I'm not sponsored by them. This ain't no promo for them, okay? But I started using the Whoop because one of my coaches on the coaching staff, they started using it. There's like a whole community built around it, but it reads your HRV. And HRV's been in the fitness industry for a while. It was secluded to like elite athletes at that level because it gave you like such a specific reading of your heart and your heart health versus just a heart rate monitor. So the difference between HRV is heart rate variability. It measures the variance of time between each heartbeat versus heart rate, just how many beats per minute are you producing? Like beat, 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 beat. That's heart rate. Heart rate variability is like, it measures the time between beat to the millisecond. So to the naked eye, it's like, that's the same rhythm, Austin, that I don't understand. There's no difference between there. But if I want to exacerbate it, it's more of like measuring the difference between these beats and like slowing it down. It looks like it's consistent with the heart rate, but if you've noticed, like it's shorter here, long here, shorter here, shorter here, long here, shorter here. It's like kind of in rhythm, but not. That's heart rate variability. It's the nuances of the time between heartbeats. And what that measures is the balance of parasympathetic nervous system and the sympathetic nervous system. If we're talking about Star Wars, I want to use Star Wars as a reference. It's the dark side versus the light side. So we're gonna take the dark side, which will represent the sympathetic nervous system. Fight or flight. All right, if Darth Vader is coming at you full force, you're gonna fight or you're gonna flight. Bro, you gotta do something. You gotta tap into your inner anger. You gotta tap into your inner hatred. You're gonna square up with the Dark Lord or you're gonna bolt out of there. Either way, you need to raise that bar of performance. Your adrenaline's pumping, your alertness, everything's powered up to the nines because you're gonna die. So that's pretty much a very oversimplification of the sympathetic nervous system, but I think that's a fun explanation. Parasympathetic nervous system is about the rest and digest, or the light side of the force. But the parasympathetic nervous system is like, you're resting, you're digesting the food that you just ate. You're chilling. You're on the beaches of Hawaii. Nothing is stressing you out, all right? So heart rate variability measures the balance of your heart, of your whole body between those nervous systems. It's basically our autonomic nervous system, the ANS. I did this in a podcast where we started saying ANS for autonomic nervous system, and then PNS, parasympathetic nervous system, and then my co-host was like, anus, penis. So we're just gonna use dark side versus light side. So HRV is basically measuring the balance of the force, or the balance you have between each nervous system, sympathetic versus parasympathetic. As opposed to heart rate, it just shows, how hard your heart's working, which is really good in itself, which is really great. I mean, it's been around. You could do it on your freaking phones now. If you measure it, it just, measures how fast your heart's moving, how fast it's going, and it could be custom to yourself. When you do the Carvonin formula, I think I'm saying that right. But if you want heart rate to be more akin to what you're doing, Carvonin formula to measure heart rate relative to your age and your heart rate reserve and all that fun stuff, that is a great way to calculate your custom heart rate. But when we go more into the HRV stuff, because I really want to dive into that because that's what's popping right now. Because of the technology nowadays versus freaking 10, 20 years ago, it wasn't as available, but now everyone's into it. But it's like, what is it? What does it do? Does it just measure how I'm doing? Like how good I am? Like, what does that mean? What does it mean? Like for the Swoop, right? For them, it takes a few days, and any type of device, if they're true to their word, especially custom to you, it'll take a while for the device to find your relative HRV measurement. And like you could have a number as low as 40 to 30 or as high as 100, 120, where just like a lot of elite athletes are. But it's a long range, right? So it's easy to be like, oh my God, I'm at 40, I suck, I'm gonna die. Like, no. it's relative to how you're performing. So if your high point is at a 50 and your low point's at a 40, that's basically where it's gonna measure your 100% versus your 50% recovery or all that fun stuff. And the way it measures how well your HRV is how well you're balanced. Mace Windu is a great example of a high HRV number. If we were to attribute his way of the Force, his control of the Force, his control of the dark side and the light side, the ultimate balance. He dived into the dark side for a bit. He's able to tap into it, but he also controls himself by hanging on to the light side. He's probably the second most strongest Jedi in the galaxy at one point. He has a high HRV because he knows how to balance. He's not always stressed out. He's not always too relaxed, but his body is able to jump between one or the other in perfect form. All right. That is what we want to achieve as a whole, as everyone. We want to have balance between each side. 9 times out of 10 though, especially in today's workaholic type of culture, high stress environment, we're kind of like Anakin when he's struggling with himself, turning into the dark side where, Sidious is like talking to him and being like, there's powers in the dark side that, Jedis will tell you about saving your loved ones. So, you have this inner conflict. You're always stressing out. You're always on edge. That constitutes a low HRV because your heart rate variance is kind of like on one path. It's not varied. It's just stressed out. It's stressed the hell out. It's just like one variance, one consistent time. Instead of like alternating times, like if you were balanced, it'd be short here, long here, short here, long here. Your heart's ready to move and flow with stress and relaxation, as opposed to just being on edge all the time. That constitutes a low heart rate variance because it isn't varied. You're stuck. You're stuck in the sympathetic nervous system because either you're stressed out about work, you're stressed out about kids, you're stressed out about your inner dialogue, and it's a lot of inner dialogue. Like, oh my God, you're stressed out about something else, or there's something that's happening, or you're physically going through something. That constitutes a very low HRV or one-sided. That's how it would constitute what HRV reads. To be very civil about it. It's a great measurement of heart health because sometimes we don't even know if we're always on edge. Like you think it's a new normal, but when you get objective information about how you're performing, when you read your HRV, you can see how well you're resting. You can see your stress levels. And that goes into this whole algorithm thing where they put it in their app and all that stuff. But it's just really interesting. Will it change in the future? Is this an end-all be-all? Like, yes, it'll change. Is this an end-all be-all? No, it's not an end-all be-all, but it's very interesting as we advance in tech, especially in the fitness space, how we can learn more about ourselves as a whole through health and wellness and being active. So I hope this helps kind of explaining in simplicity terms of what HRV versus heart rate. Heart rate is great. Okay, you can use it anywhere. It's a nice reference point to see how hard you're working in a way. But HRV it dives more deep into what's going on with your sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system, your heart health. It's just another great tool to use in your journey to level up yourself, one workout at a time. My name is Coach Austin. Don't forget to like and subscribe to this thing. We're on a mission to hit 100K by the end of 2024 subs. And, we're just a local gym in San Jose. If you're ever in town, feel free to pass by. Just hit me up first. But other than that, thank you guys for everything. And I'll see you guys later. Okay, bye.